Okay, I just thought I should do this before I get too far away from the experience. I just wanted to um, tell you about my birth experience. So I went into labor exactly 38 weeks. So that was on Monday. I started feeling labor pains Monday night, like around 7 o'clock, and I had actually been sick for the 2 days before. I'm still a little sick, which was, I mean, it's pretty crazy actually. My midwife said that almost no one is sick. I haven't been sick my entire pregnancy. Somehow I got sick 2 days before and I was like, there's no way. And then it's like, and then I start going into labor. So that is what it is. So start feeling labor pains Monday nights. I was pretty sure, like, okay, crap. My mom was my doula, Lily, and she's in Florida, so we ended up calling her and getting her on a plane, like, immediately so she could get there the next day because I just knew, like, it was like, this is going down. So was able to sleep a little bit that night. You know, off and on, contractions weren't too bad. I think they were like every like 10 minutes, something like that. Got up the next day, felt pretty good, like just kind of like navigating it. I knew my mom was gonna be getting here. Richard and I like just kind of labored, me and him at the house all day, and that was really nice just for us to kind of like have our space for a little bit and be able to just kind of get into our zone with each other. And labor felt pretty intense. Like I definitely felt like I was like going somewhere. It was like a lot of back pain, a lot of back labor. I felt like I definitely like got into it. I was like, you know, doing all the breathing and just lots of sounds, lots of oh. I have a lot of video of me doing that. Which at the time was like pretty much the jam. So my mom ended up getting here later in the day, kept laboring about 2 a.m. that night. So that would have been Wednesday morning, essentially. Tuesday, you know, Wednesday morning. About 2 a.m. I thought I was like pretty close, you know, and it was pretty intense. We called the midwife. She came over to check me. She checked me. She's looked at me and said, okay, I have good and bad news. And I was like, ugh, what? And she's like, you're only 2 centimeters, but you're completely effaced. And when I heard 2 centimeters, I almost like died a little bit inside. Like seriously, like I was like, what? And that was pretty heart-wrenching for me. But she, you know, said I was completely effaced, which was completely a good thing, you know, gave me some tips. She said, why don't you guys get outside? It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, go take a walk, you know, clear your head, come back, get a little bit of rest, and then get to it, essentially. So that's what we did. I really felt defeated in that moment. That was one of 2 moments that I really felt like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I kind of want to give up. So we got outside, 2 o'clock in the morning, went around the block a couple times, got some fresh air, got my wits back about me, came back. Richard passed out for a little bit. I it's crazy how you can sleep in between contractions, but you can. I was so tired by that point, and I hadn't really eaten anything. I didn't really eat anything for 2 days or sleep. So I was kind of like passing out, in between my contractions for, I don't know, an hour or two. And then we got up and we pretty much got to it. Like, it was like, okay, let's get this going. Like, I have to, I in my head, I was like, I can't do this for 2 more days. I could do this for 1 more day, you know, like, so it was like Wednesday at that point. So I was like, you know, this baby has to come out today at some point, because I can't do another night of all the way through the night to the next day, was essentially like my train of thought. So I just like worked for it the whole rest of Wednesday. Like, we pulled out all the stops. I was walking around the house constantly in between contractions. I started, the midwife suggested pumping, using the pumps during your contractions, 15 minutes on, 15 minutes off, which was like crazy because it just sent my contractions into like high gear. Again, lots of grunting. Two of the things that I remember that were really cool was I totally connected with a spirit guide. It was a female monkey, like a gorilla or an ape at one point. Like, she kind of like showed up, and it was like she was almost like a little dolled up. She had like lipstick on, and like you could tell she was kind of like a fancy gorilla or ape. And she showed up for me, which was really cool, and was with me throughout like the really hard times. And I would kind of get into a certain kind of like ape-like, you know, position. And I was staring out the window, but I was actually staring at her, and we would just kind of like monkey out together, and like, whoo, whoo, pretty primal, awesome experience with that. And then the other really kind of cool thing that showed up for me was like pink fractals. Towards the end, when it started getting super intense, I would close my eyes. It was just like whew, fractals, really beautiful pink. So that was really cool. So I kept laboring all day Wednesday. Wednesday evening came around, and I definitely felt it turn. The contractions were just like on top of each other. Boom, boom, boom. And I started getting kind of like, breathing through the contractions almost started making me like suffocate. Like, I felt like I couldn't breathe. That's how intense they started getting. Like, it was like they'd come and I'd be like doing okay, and then it would be so intense that I couldn't catch my breath. And I was having to, at that point, really connect with Richard and really zone into Richard. And Richard was having to breathe with me because I felt like I literally couldn't like catch my breath. Like, I was maybe gonna like suffocate. And there was only one time that I threw up, and it was because I couldn't catch my breath. And I had to be able to work through those. The whole beginning of the birth was, or labor was, about me really being like, like letting it all out. But to deal with the contractions at the very end, I had to like really like zone out and like calm myself, because if I let myself get too big about it, I would start either like suffocating, or that's what it felt like anyways, losing my breath, or I threw up, and I did not want to keep throwing up. So I was like, I can't throw up. I'm gonna just, I gotta really focus. So at that point, my mom and Richard hadn't called the midwives, and I was kind of like, where's the midwife? This baby's coming. And they were still timing me, and they were holding out, which was probably better, because then finally I was like, I can't keep doing this. Where's the midwife? And they were like, she's on her way. And I was like, okay. And when she got here, I mean, I was like, it was like the contractions would come in, and they were at the point where they'd like come in and I'd be breathing through it, and then towards the middle it was like my whole body was just wanting to go and it was like my stomach was like really, you know, wanting to like push. And I told her, I kept kind of grabbing my crotch because I was like feeling like I was needing to like hold in the push. And when she showed up, I told her, I said, I really feel like I really want to push. And she's like, that's music to my ears. Great. And it was really calm, though. I was pretty calm. I wasn't like, I was just like, this is what's going on. Like, I'm really, it feels like, you know, it's right there. Like, I want to push something. And so she's like, all right, let's check you. And she checked me, and she's like, you're 9.5 centimeters. And then she checked me, and she goes, I can feel hair. And I was like, oh my God, baby's right there. Oh my God. Like, oh my God, I'm doing it, you know? Like, I was so afraid that, you know, someone was gonna, you know, she was gonna say that, like, I wasn't there or something. And it was like, and you know what, I'm sorry, skipping back, she had come over one other time to check me, and I was 6. So I went from 2 to 5, and then this was like the 3rd time that she had come over. She had come over once in between there. But so I kind of was thinking it would feel nice to get into the shower. So she was like, sure, go get in the shower. I was in the shower for a little bit, working through the contractions still. Got out of the shower. I kind of like was turning the corner to kind of, it was like my room was right there. We had the pool set up. My mom and Richard had set up the pool during the time I was in the shower, and midwife had set up the bed, and I kind of walked out of the shower and looked at Catherine, my midwife, and I said, where should I go? And she said, you can go anywhere you want. And I kind of looked in my bedroom and saw the bed, and I just really wanted to like lay down, to be honest. Like, I saw my bed and I was like, oh, because I was so tired by that point. I was so tired. So I laid down, laid on my side. Her assistant showed up, who was lovely. Can't think of her name right now, but she was awesome, and I hadn't even met her yet, and she just was like perfect energy. And I laid on my side. They checked me some more, and then we got to it. Like, I just started getting to it. Richard set up a video camera because I really wanted it on tape, which I'm so glad we did. Richard was there, my mom was there, and this was the second point during my whole experience that I thought maybe I wasn't going to be able to do it. Can I do this?
You can do that.
Can I get it out?
Totally.
I want to get it out.
Yep.
I want to get it out.
Let's get baby.
It was a pretty crazy experience. Like, it's weird because it wasn't even like a pain thing. It wasn't that it was so painful. It was that the baby is 8 pounds. I can't believe this baby came out of me. I can't believe it. 38 weeks. I had an 8-pound baby in me. But it flowed actually pretty nicely because he, I'd push, he'd come out, go back in, come out, go back in. I could catch my breath. I could really focus on the push, go back out. She kept checking the baby's heart rate. The baby's heart rate every time was perfect, and it's been perfect his entire pregnancy, so there was no reason to worry. My perineum, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm so tired still, but I think that's what it's called. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but you know, the skin. It was stretching really nicely. She said it looked great. It was like Richard was holding my leg here. Her assistant was here. My midwife was here, you know. My mom was kind of off to the side. And I just kept looking at my midwife, and I don't know, I just kept, am I doing like this right? Like, and she's like, yes, just keep going.
It's almost here, babe.
I don't know what else to do except for what I'm doing.
What you're doing perfect.
Really, what you're doing is exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was here.
Yeah. Baby, star's almost here, honey. Your star's almost here.
And it was like, okay, you know, as long as I felt like everything was okay, I could keep going. And then she wanted me to look with the mirror, and I didn't really want to at first. And then I looked, and it was like the baby's head was that much out, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, whoa, okay.
I can see Munchkin's head. Oh, so awesome.
Oh my god. Okay. It'll do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm glad you showed me, because when she showed me, it was like, oh my god, it's right there. Like, okay, I have to keep pushing. And I just kept pushing and pushing, and I mean, it took what seemed like forever, but I got that baby's head out, and it was like this Hulk strength had to come over me, because I was so tired. I was so tired that it wasn't even, everybody talks about the ring of fire and everything. Honestly, I feel like it didn't even like hurt that bad. It wasn't that it hurt. It was that I felt like I physically did not have the strength to actually push him out, and it scared the hell out of me. It made me feel like, I honestly, at a couple points in my head, I was like, oh my god, am I not going to be able to get him out? Like, how am I going to get this much strength to push this hard? I don't know how I'm going to get this much strength, you know? And it was like scary, because I felt like, what if I can't do this? You know, I just wanted him out so bad, and I just wanted him there, and he was so close, and like, I did it. I did it, and I didn't even care about the pain at that point. Like, it wasn't, I just wanted him, you know? And I just kept saying in my head, like, you're fucking badass, like, you're the most powerful woman in the world. Like, I just was, like, psyching myself out, you know, just get him out. And then his head came out, you know, and Richard was right there, and I literally almost ripped Richard's head off trying to get this baby out. I had Richard, and he was wearing his Respect t-shirt.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, baby. Good job.
There. Come on.
There you go.
And I was like ripping off his shirt, and my legs were like behind my ears. I was pulling him so hard. And I headlocked Richard at one point, and I was just like, ah! Yeah, I almost ripped off my husband's head to get his head out. Like, his head pops out, and I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And all I said was like, oh my God, for a straight minute. Because I was just like, whoa.
Push, you got it, you got
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, there you go.
Is his head out? Is his head out?
Yes.
Feel
Baby's head is out.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me see.
Get the mirror.
Let me see. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, it tilted up. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're almost done.
Bring in this baby.
What do I do?
Push again. Push just like you've been pushing. Pushing so well. Ready?
And it wasn't like the whole body just went, it was like, okay, the head's out. And then I almost started like hyperventilating a little bit because it was just like, and I got a little, and Catherine was like, okay, this is when you have to pay attention, because she was like, you have to push. And I was like, I have to push again? And she's like, yeah, got to get the body out, like pay attention. And I was like, okay.
You pushing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby's coming.
There you go.
Come on. Give me another big push, Monica. This is why you need to follow instruction, okay? So you need a big push. There you go. You got it.
Good.
Okay. And she was so calm the whole time.
So
Anyways, so then it was like, okay, now I got to get the body out. But it was calm. You know, Catherine honestly was such an amazing, like, person. And she's just so calm and exactly what I needed. So then I had to get a good, you know, couple more heave-hos, which wasn't as hard, but was still difficult. Body comes out.
Good job, baby.
Beautiful,
There you
beautiful,
go.
beautiful.
Baby's coming.
So good. There's the other shoulder.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is it?
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Baby's coming.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, I know. I know, little one.
Oh. Oh my God. What is it? Oh, it's a boy.
It's a boy. We got a boy.
Oh.
Our little one.
Oh, baby. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, Richard.
I know.
Ah. Oh.
I mean,
Oh. Oh.
oh, we got a boy.
Oh, wait, I want him. I want him. Oh, baby.
There you go.
Oh, baby. Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, baby. Oh, my God. We got a boy. Oh, my God. Thank you.
Baby, you did so
Oh my
good.
God! Oh my God!
Oh,
Oh.
can I wipe his eye off?
Just get gauze.
Richard!
Yeah, it's our baby. It's our baby.
Oh my God!
It's our little boy.
Oh my God!
Neil.
Perfect!
And there's my baby. And yeah, it was just probably one of the most like transformational, amazing experiences, and it was special for everybody in the room, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I did it. I can't believe I got this baby out.
I can't believe I got you out. I can't believe it.
I definitely feel like a shero, and I feel so accomplished being able to be pregnant and get this baby out and do exactly what I wanted to do. It was really an amazing experience, and my experience with home birth was absolutely wonderful. I would completely do it again. Working with a midwife is such a blessing because just the care, the level of care and the confidence that she had in me.
Yeah.
Oh, what a blessing. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you.
It's my honor.
Thank you for not giving up too, baby. I know it was
Right,
hard.
that's right.
I'm so grateful that she let me just do what I needed to do and believe that I could do it. She said that she didn't think for a second I wouldn't be able to do it, even though I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. But so anyways, got the placenta out.
Second.
We still have a
I
placenta.
know. We still gotta do everything else.
Oh, there's still stuff. I forgot.
But the placenta is like soft and squishy.
Easy.
I did have to have one stitch, but it was actually inside. No big deal. The stitching up part actually was, I was kind of like, okay. And then after the baby was out, I was definitely like, holy crap, my vag hurts. Like,
Oh my God, my crotch hurts.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ice packs. I hope you made ice packs.
oh my God.
whoa, I need ice pack on this bad boy immediately. Yeah, I didn't see, that's the thing, like while it was happening, I didn't really, like my brain and it wasn't like, it was just like, get this baby out. I can't, even, but then afterwards is when I was like, oh, wow, it hurts. That feels,
Can I have like a cold washcloth on my crotch?
I just stuck one in the freezer.
Oh God, it hurts. Oh.
so anyways, yeah, and then just straight into recovery mode because honestly, like, I don't know, I didn't talk to too many people about like the right after, like the recovery right after, but like I mean, one of my girlfriends said, it feels like you bottomed out, and I've heard people say like it feels like you've been hit by a truck, but like real talk, you're destroyed. Like my body, from laboring for 2 days and being so like, my back just feels like I did like a workout. I was almost doing like squats for 2 days, like laboring, squatting, like just primal, craziness going on. Pushing like that, like just wrecked. But, like I just had a baby. Like this is amazing. This is the most amazing experience ever. Honestly, I wouldn't have trade this experience in for the world. My experience having a home birth was exactly perfect. I mean, it just, women are unbelievable creatures, and we have the power to do this, and I feel so powerful being able to have done what I wanted to do. So now we're deep in postpartum. My milk already came in. Breastfeeding's going really, really well. He's latching. I'm pretty blissed out. So that was my experience. And I'm just so grateful and full of love right now. So anyways. Love.
Baby.
Yeah, we sure do. You did so good, baby. You did so good. You did so good.
Oh, baby. I don't believe I grew you.